What's going on, y'all? This is John Alsace with the Face Mask Podcast, and today I want to talk about some more unfortunate news that hit the Washington football team today, and that was an injury to Curtis Samuel, groin injury. And while it seems to be minor, we know these things can lag into the season and can contribute to a wide receiver having a kind of a lost season if these things kind of pile up, because soft tissue injuries kind of lead to soft tissue injuries. As long as it heals correctly, it's nothing to worry about. But this news, compounded with the news that we already have about Antonio Gibson and his toe, and about how he could be out for the foreseeable future, you could absolutely miss some time. They're missing their number one rusher and their number two wide receiver. But the guys I'm looking to soak up targets, obviously Terry McLaurin, but Logan Thomas. If Curtis Samuel were to miss any significant amount of time with the groin injury, yeah, De'Ami Brown is out there stretching the field, and we all know Fitzpatrick loves to just chuck it downfield, those YOLO balls. But we also forget how consistent Mike Gesicki was last season when Fitzpatrick was playing. Mike Gesicki ended up being a top 10 tight end for the first time in his career. Logan Thomas last season was a top 6 tight end, and now he has a better quarterback. And if anything were to happen to two of the biggest playmakers on this offense, and Antonio Gibson and or Curtis Samuel, he would be the beneficiary. And even so, even if they're both healthy, I feel like he's being a little bit underlooked because of his age, because of his lack of prior production prior to last season. But he's kind of physically the archetype of what we look for in a tight end these days. That Darren Waller build. When people were drafting Kyle Pitts, they were saying this guy is Darren Waller-esque. And Logan Thomas is 6'6" and runs a 4.6. Now that's pretty crazy. He has pretty insane workout metrics, arm length, everything you look for in a physical freak at the tight end position for a receiving tight end. Yes, he's about to be 30, but he's hardly played in the NFL. He hasn't racked up all the bumps and bruises, injuries that most tight ends have had, because he's mostly played as a receiving tight end. He was a quarterback early in his career. He was actually switched to tight end while on the Buffalo Bills a few years ago, and it's taken him 3 years, but he's made the transition, and now he's a great receiving weapon, and he has the best quarterback he's ever played with. And the injury bug seems to have hit the Washington football team thus far in the offseason, and I spoke about this in the Antonio Gibson video. Washington has a bad track record of mistreating injuries for players. We saw Trent Williams opt to not play for the Washington Redskins and then request and demand a trade out of the franchise. We've seen other players experience the same issues, and they're all stemming from mistreatment from the medical staff and the coaching staff in regards to medical issues. So if any of this were to continue to pop up for any of these other players, like it seems it already has for Antonio Gibson, it might if we're to base our prognosis based off of past history with Curtis Samuel, who, let's be real, has never been a guy that's been relied on to be a full-time player in the offense, in any offense, when he was in Carolina. I just think Logan Thomas is being slept on. This has nothing to do with the fact that I have a high share of Logan Thomas across all my dynasty leagues, because he's a cheap, great option. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm reading too much into this injury news coming out of Washington? Am I projecting a little too much? Am I too high on this former quarterback who only had really a good 3/4 of the season last season? Put your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is John Alsace. Thank you for listening. This is the Face Mask Podcast.